What's up, guys? Sean here, gonna explain to you how to answer this question correctly. So we have this passage, or we have this inference question about the possible dates of the pyramids of Giza and the Great Sphinx. Now, when we look at this, we see that this geologist Robert Schoch proposes that the structures around the Great Sphinx of Giza demonstrate signs of water erosion dating back about 5,000 years earlier than what other experts believe. So this must be 5,000 years before 3000 BCE. And then if we look at the next underlined part, we see, however, the vast majority of Egyptian and geology scholars dismiss Schoch's findings as an anomaly. The last sentence says that no archaeological evidence of a civilization outside the Egyptians has ever been found on either site suggests that. So this is the inference we can make. Based on what we have here, we see a contrast between what most scholars believe as the date, which is about 3000 BC, and then what Schoch believes. He believes, based on water erosion, that civilization about 5,000 years earlier than that was present. And then, based on the last sentence, the fact that there's no archaeological evidence to support Schoch's claim of a civilization prior to the Egyptians, this kind of shows us that the inference that we can make is the evidence that Schoch presents is not enough. It's not enough to be credible, at least not credible enough to suggest that an entire civilization was present before the Egyptians to have made these two structures. So when we look at these answer choices, alpha can't be right because answer choice alpha would pretty much contradict this last sentence. How could a civilization predating the Egyptians in the same area exist if most scholars believe that there was no civilization before the Egyptians because there's no evidence of them? So alpha doesn't work. Bravo, Schoch is a pseudoscientist whose methods of dating do not meet rigid scientific standards or standards. This can't be right because we don't have any information about the specific methods of dating that Schoch used. So even though this sounds like something that could be true, there's nothing to suggest that the actual methods were incorrect or didn't meet the rigid scientific standards because there's no reference to the particular methods. Charlie, the ancient Egyptians likely wiped away all traces of the civilization that preceded them. Now, yeah, maybe, but then where's the evidence of that? There's nothing in the passage to suggest that there's evidence of mass genocide committed by the Egyptians. So there's no evidence to suggest Charlie. Delta works best and is consistent with the answer we're anticipating. Signs of water erosion alone cannot determine that the established dates and origins of the Great Sphinx are wholly incorrect. So basically, this kind of shows us that Schoch might be right about the dating of the water erosion, but that doesn't necessarily mean that his claim about an earlier civilization predating the Egyptians is correct. So Delta is your answer. Got it?